The Love Boat won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today is another For the Stepdads. Yeah, you silly little stepdads are here to fill your lives with joy.
Yeah. We're going to talk some about Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah.
Some other Gene Hackman stuff.
For our Gene Hack Month.
Yeah, our wonderful Gene Hack Month.
We're also doing something. This is on our own. We're not sponsored or anything.
No.
But Adam, most of you probably remember growing up a drink called Sunny Delight, or SunnyD, as it was more commonly known.
It was actually changed to SunnyD in 2003,
Whoa.
which I was shocked. I thought it was much earlier than that.
You know, the old commercial where kids come home and they're digging in the fridge. Well, what do you got to drink? Oh, we got some soda, we got some juice, we got some purple stuff.
Purple drink.
We got some SunnyD. And then everybody loses their mind and they all drink SunnyD and they live super successful, happy lives. Well, the folks at SunnyD are brilliant.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they're absolutely brilliant because they came up with a product for all of us nostalgic old Gen Xers called SunnyD Vodka Seltzer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's alcoholic SunnyD. And as soon as I saw this, Adam pointed this out to me. I'm like, we got to try this. We got to try this on the show. And then Adam, at his own expense, at the crack of ass this morning, drove around to every liquor store in the Los Angeles area, being berated as some crazy alcoholic who needs his booze. And he finally found some SunnyD, and we're going to try it live on air for you now.
Technically, I went to one grocery store, and they didn't carry it like they said they would. And then the first liquor store I went to had it. So support your local liquor store.
Yeah, they got what you need. Now, it's fairly early, too.
Yeah. For us right now, yes, it is very early.
I'm also not as much of a drinker as I used to be.
No.
I haven't eaten anything today.
I do want to point out just one thing I found really funny when I did some research on SunnyD because I was curious. This is a quote from the Wikipedia page. It was sold in refrigerated cabinets and marketed as a healthier alternative to soft drinks, despite neither being healthier nor requiring refrigeration.
No, it was definitely chemicals.
It's a lot of high fructose corn syrup.
But it was like Tang. It had this weird thing. So
all right, here we go. We're going to do this live on air.
For your edification.
God.
Here we go. Cheers.
Oh, Lord.
SunnyD. All right.
Tastes like SunnyD Seltzer.
Yeah. Tastes like carbonated SunnyD.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, actually, it's not bad. That's surprising. I just love that they had to make sure they put on the can very prominently contains alcohol.
Yeah. No, that's not bad.
It's 4.5%, only 95 calories, 0 grams of sugar, so hey, that's good.
Well, there you go.
Which is not true of SunnyD itself.
No, a lot of sugar in that. So this won't add to my big old belly. It's not bad.
All right, well.
It's made with real juice, Adam.
I'm going to hear us, is it? Because the actual SunnyD is not. No, it's so weird.
It's hilarious that the alcoholic version of this drink is like 30 times healthier than the non-alcoholic version.
Yay.
But hey, man.
Oh, man.
I tell you, get a 6-pack of this for your Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. Woof. You can, they sell them at 4-packs, which is great, but it's like less than $10. So, I mean, for nostalgia's sake, it's great.
If you like seltzers, and who doesn't?
Yeah.
God, I'm going to be all burpy now.
You're going to hear us drinking this through the entire episode.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. So anyway, what we should talk about other Gene Hackman movies that I don't know how many other Gene Hackman movies we're actually going to cover in the coming years.
Probably a few, definitely Unforgiven.
Oh, well, yes, definitely.
Probably not Welcome to Mooseport. Oh, my guys, you got to cover that. Everybody loves me. Probably not that one. But I would like to cover, I think at some point we have to do a month of 80s father and son rescue and mom movies.
Oh, yeah.
And we can do Target, and we can do, there's like 3 or 4 of them. Like,
Yeah.
There's one. Is that the one with Matt Dillon?
I think so. That
Yeah.
sounds right.
There's like one with Matt Dillon, one with Craig Sheffer. They kept trying to like pair old dudes with young dudes and make these action movies.
Well, I'm sure the Hollywood types, the execs, were trying to like find new young actors to be like the next Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Which didn't really work for the most part.
No, there's only Tom Cruise left. Weirdly enough. But there's also Bat 21, I think we'll probably cover.
Yes, that's true. We've talked about that quite a bit.
It's a really good movie with he and Danny Glover.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, the guy is just a solid
He's so good.
actor.
Everything he's in, he makes better, even if the movie's not good, as evidence from loose cannons.
Yeah, well, yes. But he's just so present. I think the quote from Frances McDormand when she said, at the reading, not much there. But
he doesn't give a lot.
No, because I get it. It's a reading.
Yeah.
I've been to readings where actors really try to take it to the mat.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just so...
it's interminable.
There's a friend, love him, one of the most talented human beings I've ever met.
Yeah.
But we did a reading, and that guy, man... He went
I know
nuts.
what you're talking about.
There was like some emotional scenes. Everybody was just like,
oh my God, that drug on for so long.
And it was just super uncomfortable.
It's looking around at everyone, and it's kind of like, oh my God, he's still going. Oh my God.
But again,
it's a reading.
Yeah. So I get it. You're just trying to get a feel for the script.
Yeah.
So, but once he showed up on set and she saw his eyes, and she said it was like a master class of acting.
Yeah. She was learning how to act all over again.
Because he's a giver, and those are the best actors, are the ones that are so present in the scene and are listening. That's why he and Willem Dafoe were such a great pairing.
Yes.
Because they're both really good at that.
Yeah.
But his character was a lot more. He was paying a lot more attention, I think, because Willem Dafoe's character was just so.
Well, he was very driven towards a singular goal.
Exactly. He was blinded by his ambition and his own righteousness. His own righteousness.
Yeah.
And as somebody who'd been through it, Gene Hackman's character kind of like sat back and let him fail, and then was like, "Look, you're a fool."
Because that's the one thing you can't you can tell people like this is going to happen, and then you have to let it happen.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to teach them by just telling them. Like, they have to learn it themselves.
But he does. He will probably cover that Will Smith movie with him,
Enemy of the State. Yeah,
Enemy of the State. I'm sure that'll be. So we'll cover more of his movies, but these are like his biggies for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Conversation is his greatest achievement.
Yes. It's one of the greatest cinematic achievements ever.
It is so good. I am so surprised at how great that movie is. I mean, I loved it when I was younger, but I think I understood it in a way this time when I watched it that I maybe didn't before.
Right.
Because it sucked me in like no movie has.
Yeah.
Even new movies, recent history or whatever, it just it is so engrossing, but it's such a seemingly deceptively simple story.
Right.
With so many layers, and it unfolds in such a satisfying, organic way.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That to me, look, I love French Connection.
Yeah.
Love that movie. It's got, two of my faves in it. Yeah. Scheider and Hackman. But I have to say, the real high point, probably of the last few months, was watching The Conversation again.
Yeah.
And re-upping my appreciation of just how wonderful a movie that is.
It's so good. I mean, because every time I watch it, it's like forgetting how good it is. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, and then suddenly you're just drawn in, and it's... God, it's so good. And I like The French Connection a lot, but I think I like the making of it more, and like what they did to get the movie done.
Sure,
and and a lot of that you don't see on the screen, but like knowing the backstory of it and like knowing what Friedkin had to do to get that movie done is just fascinating.
And there's some great, little hints that you point out.
Yeah.
Little jarring camera moves, or the car hitting something that it wasn't supposed to hit during the amazing chase scene.
But there was great moments in that too, like stuff I've forgotten about, like when after the huge car chase and he shoots the guy on the stairs, and then Gene Hackman just falls down. And he's like, I'm just so tired now.
Well, it's just that adrenaline kick,
so perfect.
That car drive, you'd have to like peel your hands off.
Oh my God, yes,
and the steering wheel, because I can't imagine how harrowing that would be. It was so harrowing.
I would have changed my pants.
And then, shooting the guy in the back. And Mississippi Burning, another great movie, too, and a great performance. I think it's hard to say, but I think we might have picked his top 3.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's okay. I mean, Unforgiven's still up there. I know. But I don't. I think of Unforgiven as a Clint Eastwood movie, not as a Hackman movie. He's great in it. I mean, he's fantastic in it, obviously. But I think of Clint Eastwood when I think of Unforgiven.
Sure, yeah. I'm really excited to do that. I'm really excited to do some Clint Eastwood stuff, too, because, man.
Yeah, we definitely need to do more Clint Eastwood. We've done a little bit, but...
what did we do?
Play Misty for me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we did his first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do his last.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah, still sad about William Friedkin.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think we're a curse. It seems like a lot of times when we do shows about people, they die.
I feel bad because I always put in all this death into the scripts, and I feel terrible talking about it. I mean, I try to leave them out, but sometimes it's really fascinating. Like, well, we'll be talking about next week with Mabel King.
Oh, poor Mabel King,
who we've talked about before, but like, man,
just that's the worst. Out of all of the deaths that we've.
Yeah,
it was just a slow motion. Awful, just picking
terrible.
Off parts of her. It was just good God.
It's always the worst when it's like they had a stroke and then they end up in the Hollywood like home, like the Hollywood
aged actors home.
Yeah, and then it's like they had a stroke in 2004 and then they passed away in 2020, and it's like, what? They were in there for 16 years.
Yeah, having arms and legs and stuff removed. It's just, it's just so heartbreaking.
Totally
great talent.
Related but unrelated. I just found out this morning that Jimmy Carter's been in hospice for the last 168 days.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that mother effer's hard to kill.
I know. But I was shocked because like I had heard he had gone in, but then that was the last I'd heard.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's still there.
It's like,
he's still there.
Going in for his last few days. And
that poor guy.
Yeah, but I mean, 90-something. That guy has just survived everything. Brain cancer. And he, to me, is the absolute, without a doubt, with no competition, the greatest ex-president ever. What he did with his post-presidential life,
yes, I would agree,
is the most selfless. The guy really walked the walk when it came to...
Yeah. Sorry, it was just occurring to me. I was trying to think of competition he might have in the ex-presidents and what they did afterwards. And really, until Obama, he didn't have a lot of competition. What did Clinton do with his after years? Hung out with Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
What did George W. Bush do with his years?
He painted.
Awful paintings?
He painted his feet.
What has Trump done?
Oh, boy.
Well. Not going to touch that one. I'm just saying is that I think that Obama is second.
Sure.
Very far second, but everybody else is just like, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Do what you can.
Yeah, he kind of put everybody to shame.
Yeah.
And,
And he's fantastic, but that's because they're so great. They're so great. They're such good people.
Yeah, it's you have hope in humanity because of people like the Carters.
Right. Right.
Yeah, love him or hate
true.
his politics, you cannot argue that he is an empathetic,
he is
amazing
trying to
being.
make the world a better place.
One of the greatest American humanitarians
that
we've ever produced.
Yeah.
And he had a great run with his wife. I mean,
they've been married like 8,000 years or something. I mean, like
Well, he did have lust in his heart sometimes, Adam. That's what he said in the Playboy. That's so quaint.
Did he?
It is so quaint. So quaint that people got up in arms with Jimmy Carter because he said that he sometimes had lust in his heart. Like he didn't go after it. Just occasionally might see a picture of a boob and be like, ooh, I'm kind of horny.
That's a nice looking boob.
Yeah. And better repent.
Better go tell my wife.
Yeah. So quaint. That and everybody was like, how dare he think about boobs? He's the president of the United States. He's supposed to be a Christian.
He's not supposed to be a human being.
Yes. And there's never been a president who thought about a boob afterwards.
No.
That's for sure.
Definitely not Bill Clinton.
Definitely not gross old Bill Clinton. And I was thinking, because when we get into video games, I've been replaying a lot of games. Just been nostalgic or whatever, or just needed some comfort food. But because I used to be a heavier drinker, and I drank a lot when I played video games, it's like I don't remember a lot of that stuff and the stories.
Plot points.
Oh,
what?
Boy, man, when we get to there, I gotta, oof.
Yeah, anyway, so I think this is a good segue into the old man gripe corner.
Yes. Well, let's just say that this has been a spectacular month getting reacquainted with Mr. Hackman and just realizing what an American treasure he is. And it just makes me want to watch more of his movies. I'm really excited to watch more of his stuff.
Want to watch The Conversation again already.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it and we didn't convince you in our show, please watch The Conversation. That is what you can take from this month.
Yes.
But so let's switch gears. I'm going to do an old man gripe, an old stepdad gripe. And it's a classic, I would say. I'm going to gripe about the bank.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo, okay? We all know this. I'm a very strange man with very strange peccadillos. And one of the things that I enjoy doing is I like going to the bank.
Sure.
I prefer, and maybe it's just because that's how it was done when I started, and,
Yeah.
But I like going into the bank. I like talking to the teller. I like depositing my thing and getting my receipt and knowing that it's in there and when it's available and blip, blap, bitty, bloop.
It's physical. It's a physical interaction. Yeah.
I had issues when I did online banking. There's somebody trying to break into my account, bleep, blah, blah. And so I decided I'm not going to do online banking at all. I'm going to do all my banking as I used to do, in person or on phone, the phone. Yeah. Which, honestly, I think the phone is sometimes quicker than doing it online.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But so I went into the bank this morning, and I'm in line, and there's two other guys in front of me. And usually it takes a long time, but there was no teller. There's no teller. And so finally, after a few minutes, I asked the gentleman in front of me, I was like, is anybody working here? And he said, well, they said 5 minutes. And I was like, what, was that 10 minutes ago? And he laughed and was like, yes. And so the poor manager comes out, and she's like, can I escort anybody to the ATM? Can I escort anybody? It's like, lady, no. We all know how to use the ATM. We don't need an escort. It's very it's not her fault.
We walked by it on the way in.
Yes, I know where it is.
And
so every time I go in there, there's one teller or no tellers, and there's always a line, and everybody gets upset, and it's so unfair to the poor manager and the people that work there because talking to her, she's like, look, I'm as mad as you are, probably more mad because I'm the one who has to take it. And every day people are like, where's the tellers? Where's the tellers? And there's nothing she can do because corporate...
Right. It's not her choice to not have tellers there. Yeah.
The way she explains it, they realize that it's like 18 cents or something per transaction at the ATM versus like $1 if you go to the teller. And so these cheap bastards, because it's all about the bottom line, man, no more customer service, they're putting them into a position of failure.
Right.
And then as soon as you go to the bank, as soon as you get home, there's an email like, rate this. And most people are like, this lady, and she said, she's like, so many times, it starts off with this lady said or this lady didn't. And she's like, and I'm the lady.
I'm the lady.
And I just felt so badly for her because she's such a nice person. And I've been going to the same branch for a long time, and I've noticed how awful it's gotten.
Yeah.
Used to be 2-3 tellers.
Right.
And, it went by really quickly. And just weird stuff, too, at the bank. Like, I go to deposit a check, and all of a sudden this panic look comes across the teller's face, and their eyes dart from side to side, and they get a little sweaty, and then they're like, excuse me for a second, please, excuse me. And then they go to the manager, and then the manager's furtively looking around and talking about me. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Am I going to jail? And they come back, and they're like, sir, in your account, it says James, but on this check it says Jim. It's not the same name. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? You know that Jim is short for James.
It's the most common nickname.
Bill is short for William.
Yeah.
And Will. And, William's got a ton of them.
William's got so many pitfalls.
We just got Jimbo, Jim, Jamie, James.
Jamie, yeah.
And this has happened more than once. And they're like, well, maybe you should make an appointment with the banker. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the most moronic thing I've ever seen. And, and then I'm like, and I've been banking since 1988 with this. And so it's just become such, they make it such a hassle to go into the bank. Yeah. And I'm so defiant, man. I don't care if it takes me 4 hours. I will still go to that bank because I'm a petty man. And
I understand. I mean, I joined a credit union a long time ago.
Yeah.
And essentially it's just a bank. It's a bank, but it's owned by me. Technically, I own part of it. But I've been going to that same credit union. And the only reason I do online banking now is because during the pandemic, they closed all their branches.
Yeah.
And it was like they created an app that was so secure that I felt okay depositing checks like through my phone.
Yeah.
But the same deal back when I would always go in, I'd walk down to the bank. I mean, it was a couple miles away. I'd walk down to the credit union. And there was at least once, that I would like deposit a check in the ATM. They were like, oh, just go to the ATM. It was a big, long line. They always have multiple tellers. They're very good about it, but it's a small branch. And they're like, just go to the ATM. Okay. Deposit the check in the ATM. It was like a $2,000 check or something. Going to cover my rent the next day. Surprise. When you deposit in the ATM, it takes them 72 hours to clear it. And I was like, well, and they're just like, sorry. And I was like, you told me to go there. Yeah. I had some pretty bad customer service growing up. Like
sure.
I had a great, in college, I called Godfather's Pizza.
Oh boy.
I was like, okay, I want to get this pizza. I call and the person is like on the phone. And granted, they're probably college age too.
Hey, what do you need?
I was like, I want to get a pizza. And they're like, okay, like give me just a second. And they literally set the phone like on top of the receiver box. So I can literally hear everything going on inside the store. I waited, not even on hold, just waited like 10 minutes. Nobody picked up. I'm like shouting into my phone, like, someone please pick up the phone. Nobody did. I literally got in my car and drove to the store. And they were like, can I help you? And I go, yeah, that's me on the phone. And it was still sitting on the box.
Oh, wow. What'd they do?
They were like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, I'm not ordering anything from you ever again. Let's talk about video games.
Okay.
Let's start with video games. Why not?
Let's start with video games. So, what have you been playing?
I finally played all the way through the story on the Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Which, funny enough, in about a week, they're shutting it all down.
Oh, really?
So you're not going to be able to play online anymore, which granted, every single critique of that game is absolutely true. There were so many times that I was so frustrated with it.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Very pretty.
The best thing about it is that
The Hulk?
when they realized, yes, but when they realized that they were going to be just like giving up on it, all the stuff that you should have paid for, they just made free.
Yeah, the costumes,
and it was
cosmetics.
all the downloads, all that stuff was just free. And I deleted it yesterday. I was just finally like, you know what? I have zero desire. After you finish the main campaign, all the characters unlock. I went through all the costumes. I looked to see all the cool stuff, and I was like, I just don't care anymore.
I've thought about playing because I'm kind of bored with the main story part. Like it's gotten to the part where it's
all the end's really good though.
But I don't. It's also confusing because I don't know what to do next. Do I do the stuff that's on the board, or do I do the
not set up well at all?
Not intuitive at all. It was fun, but I get it. What they were trying to do was make a looter shooter like Destiny 2 or
a service game.
Yeah, a live service game that
there was no reason to do that.
No, and it's just the loops weren't that good. The enemies are super boring.
It's so repetitive.
And it's just the same thing over and over. I think I might delete that today because it's like 140 gigs
and it's
or something.
Huge. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It is giant. And I really enjoyed the actor that played Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Or Kamala.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher the name. But the Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
She did a great job. like you said, some of the voice acting is better than the actual Marvel guys.
I love the guy who does Tony Stark is so good. Like they wrote him very well. I mean, it's much more in line with the comics than the MCU.
Yeah.
Especially by the fact that Ms. Marvel is not like a cosmic powered person. She has stretchy arms like Mr. Fantastic, which is one of my favorite characters in the comics. So it was cool being able to use the big stretchy arms and legs and
have
stuff.
her grow big and tall.
Yeah. It was cool.
There was definitely some fun stuff. I'm kind of curious about trying out the different expansions, but
the Future Imperfect one I really want to do because it is one of my favorite Hulk comic stories, which I have in a closet somewhere.
Nice.
But it made me. I realized yesterday. Oh, you know what? I should just reread those 2 volumes, and then deleted the game. Like yeah, because it wouldn't do it justice. I know it wouldn't do it justice, and I was like, why even try?
It's just it was a missed opportunity because it could have been a really fun game. Yeah. There's a lot of good elements in it.
Yeah.
There's a good game in there somewhere.
Yes.
But you got to dig too hard to get it out.
They're abandoning it, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. I mean, it was worth $4.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't.
And we played a little bit together. It was fun to.
It was cool.
I really enjoyed playing as the Hulk. I love the Hulk is probably my favorite.
He's a great
character because as a kid, I loved the Hulk. Mainly because it was effed up, but mainly because I had a temper. I had a big temper problem for a lot of years.
You were the Hulk?
Well, I identified with the Hulk.
Right.
I really wish that I could turn into the Hulk.
Jim Smash!
And smash all the things that made me mad.
Yeah.
And I would watch the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno Hulk, and I would dress. I had my little Hulk costume, and when he turned into the Hulk, I turned into the Hulk. And God, I was a weird kid.
That was sorry, go ahead.
But I was just going to say, but the Hulk, more than any other superhero ever, the Hulk really connected with me.
Yeah.
And I love all superheroes, but for some reason, like in the way he was written in the 70s and 80s was really interesting too. Yeah. They were doing some stuff with him that was different. And so playing as the Hulk was really fun. And he had some fun moves and the jumping. They really got the Hulk jump.
The bounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was
really
that
fun.
was really. It was the best part was when we were playing together, and Jim was playing Hulk, and suddenly he's just leaping away.
Right.
It's like, oh, all right, I'll come catch up.
I tried to put on some weirdo costume, like him dressed as a 30s gangster.
So stupid. But they had the Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby, like Lou Ferrigno costume in it, and it looked like him, the purple pants and all that, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, nope, that's it from that on. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I couldn't not.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was, I'm really glad that I didn't buy it because I remember when it came out, there was a demo. Yeah. I tried the demo and I was just really underwhelmed.
Oh, if I had paid $60 for that game, I would be so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not to mention the fact that it's been like 2 years since it came out. And they didn't really fundamentally change anything.
No.
I mean, not like Cyberpunk. Like, at least they're like, yeah, we're fixing it. Like, we're making it better.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
So excited for the Cyberpunk expansion.
Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, man. It's given me Witcher 3 vibes. It's given me the Witcher DLC vibes. I'm
finally going to be able to actually play this game.
It's really funny.
I've been holding off on it. Yeah.
There's a few people that I've talked to that are like, yeah, I think I'm going to play it now. And I'm a little jelly because, I mean, I played it and loved it. I loved it. Once they finally got it on the PS5. But I think I might do, I don't know if they have an N+. I'd love to do an N+.
I imagine they probably do.
Because they got a lot of cool guns.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you do continue in your game now, once they do the update, you're going to have to respec all of your abilities and everything because it's a whole new system. Anyway, it just looks like they're making up for all of the. I love it when it sucks when a company releases a subpar game.
Yeah.
But much like Cyberpunk, Hello Games with
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Thank you, Adam. With No Man's Sky, that released. It was like every promise in the world. This is going to be the greatest game ever. Trillions of planets and blah blah blah. And it was a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
But they have spent years making this thing into an incredible experience. Unfortunately, I feel as though I've waited too long and it's passed me by, and it just seems a little overwhelming to get back in. It's too much to do almost.
Same. I've tried replaying it a few times, and I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, because you got to build bases. I mean, all this stuff looks cool, and they do have something that is great. They have I think it's called like the creator. Instead of playing it where you got to mine everything, whatever, you can play it where you get all the stuff. And you can just build whatever you want.
Explore and do your thing.
And it's not, it's a lot easier and you can experience everything.
Oh, okay.
So I might try that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that it seems now that CD Projekt Red has finally delivered the Cyberpunk game that they've been promising. And
20 years later.
Whatever. I mean, I was one of those guys. I bought it when it first came out.
Same. And pre-ordered. Last thing I ever pre-ordered.
But I honestly think I'm probably going to pick up this expansion. It looks really good.
Oh, I'm definitely going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait, let it get reviewed.
Sure.
But from everything I've seen, and they've done a good job of going around the country and letting people play it. And it just sounds so cool. It's got the Escape from New York vibes, the president crashing in like the sketchy area.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
All the new updated, like the cops, and you have gun, you can fight from your cars and stuff. And
the car, yeah.
It just sounds
cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I really, really enjoyed the experience as it was.
Right.
But it just seems like they're going to fill the world more and make it more of a living, breathing experience.
Cool.
Which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And you played a little indie guy.
Yeah, there was this game called Midnight Fight Express.
I think I turned you on to that.
You did. You mentioned it. I put it on my wish list, and it was on sale, so I bought it. It was like $13-14. It's like a top-down fighting game. Mm-hmm. The story's really interesting. There's like 40 levels you play through. The story's really has some twists and turns.
That's cool.
But when you really finally kind of figure out the fighting, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's so fun, and it is one of the most violent games I've ever seen. But it's from Humble Games. It's really good. It has a great feel to it. There's some references to some old Gen X movies like The Warriors.
Nice.
There's some references to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Nice. I think it's 2. The No Russian.
Oh,
yeah, that whole... Yeah, which is actually it's much more satisfying in Midnight Fight Express because you have to actually fight all those guys that are trying to be terrorists.
There's a level in Modern Warfare 2. It was very controversial at the time, and you could even skip it because people
gave you the option. Yeah,
but you basically were working undercover as a CIA agent. You walk into this airport with the villain, and you just start killing civilians. It was brutal,
so brutal,
and it was so surprising. I remember playing that, and just being
it's like, wow, we're doing this? Like, this is happening.
Trying not to shoot anybody. It's like you're trying to shoot around people to make it look like you're still shooting.
That's a nice outline you shot there, Jim.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward because I didn't pick it up. I'm trying to finish my backlog before I buy anything else because it's become ridiculous. I know all of us gamers have just a pile of games we're sitting on that we need to finish.
Yeah, a lot.
And I just keep going back and playing old games.
Yeah.
I'm
what have you played?
I went back. I played BioShock, the original BioShock again.
Wow.
Which I hadn't played in a long time. And damn, that's a good game.
It's a fun game.
Really fun. Plus, great story, great twist. One of the greatest twists in video game history at the end, or close to the end. And just a creepy vibe. I've been really into these kind of like creepy, solo, desolate kind of games.
Oh, yeah.
So I played that, really enjoyed it. I started BioShock 2, but for some reason on the PS5, it won't save.
Weird.
So I got through a chunk and it was like, check your save files because you need to delete something or whatever. And there's, no, I don't
weird.
Delete that. And then part of me thought, well, I'll just see if I can play it through without stopping. And then that part of me...
I've got 40 hours on my hands.
It's like, no effing way. So I went back to an old classic, one of my absolute favorite games of all time, Mad Max.
Love
which Mad Max, in my opinion, is the best tie-in game.
Yeah.
Because it's not a movie tie-in game necessarily.
Yeah.
because it's its own Mad Max and its own story and its own world and its own take on it.
Yeah.
It's got hints of both the old Mad Max and the new Mad Max.
Yeah.
But it captures that world like no other.
Yeah.
And it's not a very complicated game. A lot of it is just go to this place, kill a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, drive.
Go to this place, kill a bunch of dudes.
Fight. Drive, fight. Drive, fight.
And find some dog food or some maggots for you to eat, or smash a rat and eat that rat.
Smash open a corpse.
Yeah, it's so gross. You dig into a corpse and you eat maggots. I mean, it's so bleak.
Yeah.
You know, and when you find water to put in your canteen, it just really captures that post-apocalyptic vibe, unlike any other game, really.
Yeah.
And and the story, it's funny because a lot of times the way I play these big open world games is I'll kind of take sections, because there's all these different side activities and side quests and and things to explore, and I'll like chunk it out and try to clear everything out and then move on to the next section. Clear everything out because it helps build up your. I don't know. I'm a weirdo.
No,
and so the story kind of takes second. It becomes second banana a little bit,
right?
Especially in the beginning part. So as I'm kind of playing through the story at the beginning, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really remember this. It's kind of boring, you know. It's like, all right, there's this weird dude, and I got to get stuff for this weird dude and that weird dude, and then, man, when you get to like the third act or right before, holy effing F, man, it has got one of the most brutal stories ever in video games. It is so harsh, so cruelly, brutally harsh, but so germane to the material, and so perfect. This would have made an amazing Mad Max movie.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that you get to do races, and then you even get a little Thunderdome, a very tiny little Thunderdome action.
Oh yeah,
very tiny. Yeah, because after you have this big race, there's a couple of things that were very frustrating, but I ended up getting through them. Yeah. You find kind of a trick, but there's this part where you go through this race, and you have this woman that is your fighter, and she's like throwing the thunderpoons, which are these exploding spear things. And so after you defeat the big bad in the race, then they throw you and your fighter in the Thunderdome, and they're all like, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. And then you got to fight your friend, and you're like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want to fight you. and then you got to fight her to the death in the Thunderdome.
Oh, wow.
Which was awesome.
God, I don't remember any of that.
I didn't either. And I didn't either. And I also didn't remember. I'm not going to spoil it, because if you haven't played this game and you're a gamer, play it. It's on sale, I think, right now.
Yeah.
You can get it for nothing.
It's usually cheap, and it's usually on sale.
Yeah, and it is 100% worth it, because it's just one of those games that it's a great late night.
Yeah. Put
your headphones on and escape into this desolate world. It's like if you're alone in the house, you know, it lends itself to this experience that is very different than any other video game, in my opinion. And it is one of the most deceptively simple yet engrossing games I think I've ever played.
It has some of the best fighting I've ever seen.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, it's so satisfying.
It is. It's simple too. It's basically a 2-button system.
Yeah.
3-button, you know, if you do the work, you know, once you start getting a few, you know, tricks like being able to take the shiv and do the shiv kill and grab the, but it's very deceptive, but it's all timing, and it's so crunchy, and it's just so weighted. Everything just feels like it's got weight to it, and it's got the absolute best shotgun in the biz.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, once you get him all decked out, and you got your leather jacket, and you got your shotgun, and you got your stuff, and you just feel invincible. It is such a I just always forget what an amazing game this is.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you haven't played it, you can get it cheap.
Yeah, highly recommend. Cannot recommend it enough.
Especially if you're a Mad Max fan.
Yeah.
That took up a lot of my time. And then I really got into one of the free games for PlayStation Plus was 2K23 Golf, PGA Tour.
PGA, yeah.
And I like me a good golf game.
Yeah.
I like sports games. I used to really love sports games. They're a little too complicated for me now, I guess.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, it's just... There's too many microtransactions.
Yeah,
Too much crap going on that is like back when you used to get FIFA, it was FIFA.
Yeah.
And you played as whatever team you wanted to play, and you could jack it through the World Cup, and it was just fine. You didn't have to worry about trades and booster packs.
Just play through.
Yeah. And that's what turns me off with all these sports games. It's all this ancillary crap.
Yeah.
That, I have no interest in.
Yeah. I don't care about managing. Like, I don't care. I just want to play.
But the golf game, even though it is criminally filled with microtransactions and passes and just crap that means nothing, luckily all that is pretty much just cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have anything to do with the actual gameplay. But the gameplay is solid. And so I was like, I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to win the FedEx Cup. I'm going to go through and I'm going to play it.
Funny enough, it's the actual FedEx Cup is finishing right now as we're recording.
That's crazy. And so I've been playing, but it's just taking forever. The funniest thing about it, because Adam played a little bit of the golf as well, is I went into his room and we're talking about something, and golf was on.
It was the beginning of the FedEx Cup.
Exactly.
The first round, yeah.
And look, we don't watch
golf.
I played golf as a kid. I really enjoyed it as a kid, but it's so frustrating, and I gave it up. Plus, it's an expensive game. There's no way I can afford it.
So expensive.
But we ended up sitting there for about 2 hours just watching.
Yes. The caveat that we talked through most of it. But it was super fun.
But there was a lot of times we're like, ooh, look at that shot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because the interface of the golf game is exactly like the actual tour.
They did such a good job of setting it up.
So good.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I haven't deleted it yet. I probably will soon, but only because I'm playing. I don't want to say I'm playing on the easiest setting.
Yeah.
But I think it's the next one up from that. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm like winning tournaments by like 40 strokes.
Wow. Because you're doing the four game.
The full 4 round like thing.
But I'm only doing one round. And it's still taking forever with just one round.
But I'm at the point where it's like, this is very unrealistic, but I know if I bump up the difficulty, I'm going to get frustrated and then stop playing the game.
Well, I've noticed that I'm having a lot more fun like trying to control the shots and trying to like get more technical about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because still, I mean, my handicap is plus 13.7, which is something like I'm usually average of 13 strokes under par.
Right.
And in terms of the standings, I've got like 10 or 11,000 points, and I think the person closest to me has 1,000.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'm not going to qualify.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you could sit out the FedEx Cup and still win.
Yes, exactly. I could sit out the rest of the
whole season,
the tournament, and I'd still win. But I'm still really enjoying it, and
I definitely want to go back and play more.
I want to get a hole-in-one. I came so close the other day to getting a hole-in-one.
That's when I get a hole-in-one, I'm probably going to delete the game.
Yeah, an albatross.
Yeah.
But it's
fun. And being the fact that we paid $0 for it helps a lot.
Exactly. And I usually enjoy the free games. There's a couple of other ones that I want to try out.
Yeah.
That weird one with the crow.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried
Ravenwood or something. I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called.
But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. I've been mostly playing the 2 diametrically opposed games, Mad Max and golf.
Yeah.
And, but I finished Max, and it's funny because once you finish it, you unlock his iconic jacket and his iconic
from the first movie or early movies,
and his iconic sawed-off shotgun. And so I'm like, well, I want to play around a little bit.
Yeah.
So I haven't stopped playing.
You've been tootling around
because there's it's like I still got to get a little more stockpile for Jeet,
a little more scrap,
and a little more scrap for Pink Eye.
Yeah.
I'll finish that up and then I'll be done. But yeah, so when I finished it, I kind of was going through and I was popping on stuff. Like I was popping on God of War, and I was popping Dragon
Age.
Was it not Dragon?
Dragon's
Age?
Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma. I popped that on to check out. I think that'll be fun. That seems like it's promising.
I'm looking forward to playing that. Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time finding something to grab me, and I think what it's going to be is I'm going back to Horizon Forbidden West. I think that's the one I'm going to get back into and finish.
Yeah, I need to play that.
That just got overwhelming. It's like a lot of these open world games, there's too much stuff.
Yeah, it was for me, and I stopped playing it long before I handed the disc to you and said, hey, just play this, because there was a point where I was like, this is going to take like 200 hours.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. I was like, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fathom playing this much.
Well, that was also pretty close to being when you were done with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was a 200-hour game.
Yeah, it was a long game. Yeah. But but I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I'm looking forward to picking something up and playing. I'm probably gonna. I played through The Last of Us Part 1 a while ago, and I haven't played through The Last of Us Part 2 yet, so I need to pick that up. I was kind of waiting until it got a little closer to the next season of the show coming out, but God knows now that's probably not going to be for 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be a while.
Speaking of, did you see they finally met? The AMPTP and the WGA finally met.
Yeah, I heard that the AMPTP were very condescending.
Yeah, they literally said the whole meeting was them going, I don't know why you guys aren't taking our offer. Like, why aren't you guys taking our offer? I mean, it's a good offer. Why aren't you taking it? It's like, how about you counteroffer something? Anyway.
For all of you out there who aren't, don't follow the whole Hollywood thing too closely, just know that these strikes aren't about rich people wanting more money.
No.
The 90% of the people in the WGA and in SAG don't make any money.
SAG, it's like 93%.
Don't even qualify for health insurance.
No, yeah.
So it's when you're getting when you used to get hundreds of dollars in residual checks, and those are reduced to pennies.
Yeah.
All of these actors are sharing these residual checks that are 19 cents, 22 cents, 23 cents. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
These people deserve to make a living.
Yeah, they should be able to make a living doing this thing. If your name is on a TV show, you should be able to make a living doing it. Speaking of, what movies have you seen recently?
Movies. I've been watching more TV than movies. I watched the Mario Brothers movie. It was fine. I didn't hate it, but it just I could not tell you anything about it.
I mean, it was Mario,
bland cookie cutter
he was
animation.
There,
the story could have been anything.
I thought it was clever how they had Chris Pratt not have the Italian accent. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. But then again, why do you need Chris Pratt?
This is also going back. There used to be actors that you didn't know their names that were able to make a living doing VO work.
Look, hey, Chris Pratt did a great job on the Lego movie.
Yeah.
Really fun, but he had a character.
Yeah.
And the character was jubilant.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
Jubilant?
Jubilant?
Jubilant? I don't know, man. God, SunnyD. SunnyD and vodka. Curse you. But he was great. I mean, he was a lot of fun or whatever. Yeah. But for this, it was just like, you're the most boring character in your Mario.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his character was kind of boring. I mean, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't love it.
I just didn't see the point.
I
thought Keegan-Michael Key was really fun, but there was no point to his character.
Was he the wizard
He was the little mushroom guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
I don't know. I really don't understand how it made over $1 billion.
I thought it was super lazy and obvious to get Seth Rogen to play Donkey Kong, and I didn't think he was very good at it. I was talking to a voiceover friend of ours who actually does voiceover for a living, and she thought that Chris Pratt would have been a lot more interesting as Donkey Kong, and I agree with her, because he would have had to be a character instead of being, hey, I'm Mario, I'm going to go find my brother.
I'm just going to run around.
I'm going to just do this accent that's just kind of a little bit of an accent.
I liked Princess Peach. I thought she was really good.
She was. Jack Black was great, too.
Jack Black was great. I don't know who played Princess Peach.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah.
Yeah, she was good.
Speaking of, I meant to mention this during Mad Max, but Furiosa. I think she's Furiosa in the new Furiosa movie.
I think so.
Coming out next year, I think.
Oh, good. We'll see.
Or the end of this year. I hope so. I mean, I think they were done shooting it, but curious about that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I thought Charlize Theron was great.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's like her origin. It's like her as a younger person. So yeah, we watched that. It was fine. Better animation that I watched. It's on Shudder, called The Spine of Night.
Oh.
It is one of the rotoscoped, like kind of in the realm of like
Lord of the Rings?
Do they do rotoscope? No, it's more like heavy metal.
The Lord of the Rings animated movie.
I thought that it was more cartoony.
No, there was total rotoscope. All of the
I
battle
honestly
scenes
don't
were
remember
live
any
action
of
that
the
were
animated
rotoscoped.
stuff.
Yeah,
the Ralph Bakshi, wasn't that Ralph Bakshi? Yeah. But it reminded me a lot of like heavy metal and like because it's like 12 frames per second, so everything's kind of slower and
nice.
like it's a weird, super weird fantasy story.
What's it called again?
The Spine of Night.
The Spine of Night.
Yeah, it's very similar to heavy metal with the ball thing that kind of goes through the stories.
Oh.
And this is also kind of like segmented because it talks about, but it's about this plant and like how it helps people and all this, but it's super violent, so hyper violent.
I'll check it out.
But it's really good.
I love my cartoons.
Oh, it's so good. Lucy Lawless plays the lead. So,
good.
Yeah. It took them to get 4 people hand drew it, and it took 7 years to do the movie.
Good Lord. Well, I'll definitely check it out. That's a lot of work. I watched that Monkey King.
Monkey King, yeah,
movie.
on Netflix, yeah.
I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Jimmy O Yang
Oh, yeah.
was the lead. He's a very funny comedian. He did a really good job. And it's an interesting story. There's a video game that's basically based on that same story.
Okay.
Wulong.
Oh,
coming out
yeah, okay.
at the Monkey King. Same thing. He's got his staff, and it looks pretty cool. We watched
The Pope's Exorcist.
I totally forgot we watched that. Honestly, that wasn't what I was going to say.
Oh.
But yes, we did watch The Pope's Exorcist, and what an amazingly bad movie that was.
It made the whole time it was playing, it made me wish I could rewatch The Exorcist again.
Oh God, look, I love Russell Crowe.
He was great. Though.
I have such a soft spot for him.
Yeah.
I really like him in these over the top.
Yeah.
Roles that aren't really him, you
Right.
give him a bad accent or something, and some gravitas, and oh baby, give me some popcorn, I'm in. But oh baby, this was just
such an awful movie.
I couldn't tell you what it was about. I was like, okay, Russell Crowe had a beard.
There's a boy,
Yeah,
and there's a girl,
yeah,
and eventually they're both possessed.
I guess. And then he gets possessed. I don't know.
All I really remember is a wonderful vision of the Virgin Mary who becomes a demon. It was a very Catholic interpretation of the Virgin Mary. And then also the absolute best part about that movie was the fact that didn't really explain, but lady inherited a former church that she decided to use as a house in England.
Yeah.
And underneath were giant caverns with even older churches.
Yeah, where they kept the devil at bay. Apparently, it was a little jail cell for the devil.
A flimsy premise.
Garbage. It was bad, but we did
so bad.
On the flip side, we watched Asteroid City.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Which was really interesting. I had no idea, honestly, what it was about. I didn't know that it was like a play within a play.
It was so bizarre.
Very, very interesting conceit.
I enjoyed it.
I'm a big fan of his movies.
Yeah.
It seemed like he got a little bit, it's going to sound strange, but he got a little bit out of the quirk and told a little bit more of an honest story about the family. I mean, it was very quirky.
But also, it was also the most Wes Anderson movie of all time.
Strangely enough, the most and the least, in a way.
Yeah.
In a it wasn't as funny.
No, it was
a little more serious.
Jason Schwartzman was so good.
Very good.
Dealing with his family and just how weird he was. And like
everybody was really good in it.
Yeah. Was it Bryan Cranston that did the narrator?
Mm-hmm.
My absolute favorite part in that where he just shows up suddenly and he's like, oh, is this not my scene? And then walks out.
It's just, he had a lot of fun with the conceit.
Yeah.
That's why I like, if you're going to do a conceit like that, you got to play around with it like he did, and he did. My biggest complaint would be I 100% believe that Tom Hanks came in because
Bill Murray
couldn't do it.
I agree.
Because this was 100%. And it would have been, honestly, I love Rushmore. I think it's my favorite of his movies because it's the first one I saw. I mean, the second one I saw Bottle Rocket, but the first kind of mainstream movie. And I thought it would have been just so incredible to see the full circle of of Jason Schwartzman being the father
right.
of the kids, and then having Bill Murray be the grandfather because he was
Right.
the best friend kind of father figure in Rushmore, and it would have been perfect. And I feel that it was written for him,
Probably.
and that as great of an actor as Tom Hanks is, and he was good in this part. It wasn't he was bad.
I liked him in it a lot. Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It's just that all I could think of was like,
Yeah. That should have been Bill Murray.
He's
Bill Murray light.
second string.
Yeah. He was great, but definitely it felt like that should have been Bill Murray.
And quite frankly, it should have been. But
Yeah.
and no disrespect to him, he was fine, and he did a really good job. It's just it's not his fault, but because of who he is and who he usually plays, it's difficult to see him as an unlikable character.
Yes.
Because he's just so inherently likable.
Right.
That it's jarring. There's been a couple of movies where his performance is jarring.
Right.
Because it takes the charm.
A Man Called Otto.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you should see that. You want to see jarring Tom Hanks being grumpy.
Oh.
It's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. And it is a good character arc. But like,
sure. And he's always good, even in bad stuff. He's another actor that's always good.
yeah, yeah.
But I think he is a victim of his own
Yeah.
personality.
His own niceness.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just too nice.
But definitely worth a look. Definitely worth a look.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah. I don't think I've really seen any other movies. What have any other movies you've watched?
Nothing new.
Okay.
I've gone back and watched some old favies. There's some new shows that are back. Solar Opposites is back.
I still need to start watching that.
It's weird. The creator and one of the lead voices, Justin Roiland, he also does Rick and Morty and a bunch of other stuff. He's got Squanch Games.
Yeah.
But he went through some crap, and apparently he's a jerk. I don't know. There's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
There was some original stuff that it didn't seem like he did, but there's enough other stuff that he's still canceled.
He's not on the show anymore.
Yes, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And so it's pretty jarring at the beginning, but they did a smart thing, which is they replaced his voice with an Englishman.
Oh.
And at the very beginning, they're like, look, we changed the voice. It's just going to be like this. And we're going to probably do it in flashbacks too. So you're just going to have to deal with it. So that's just how it is. And then pretty much after that, you get used to it, and he's fine. And, the other actors are great. And it's got the fun stuff in the wall. There's like a whole universe of people living in the wall. And
that's one of my favorite storylines of modern TV.
And yeah, it's so good. And then they also have like another storyline about this guy going into space and joining like ice cops or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do a good job with that. It was fun. It was good. Good season. I enjoyed it. It's a quick watch. You can binge through it in a weekend if you want. Still really enjoying Justified Primeval. Such a good show. And even if you haven't seen Justified, you can go ahead and watch it. It's not going to...
Yeah.
You're not in any sort of... you're not losing anything by not seeing it. The story is pretty much standalone.
Right.
I would definitely watch Justified if you haven't seen it. It's a great show.
Only Murders in the Building started again?
Yes, thank you. Oh, and yes, Only Murders in the Building started again. It has Meryl Streep, and it has Ant-Man. What's his name? Paul Rudd, Mr. Pretty, Mr. No Agent. It's been a great season so far. But the thing that I love most about it coming back is that Steve Martin and Martin Short are doing the rounds again. Yeah. And they just did another Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend episode.
Nice.
And Martin Short, the way he roasts Conan O'Brien is in the way Conan O'Brien just eats it up and loves it is hilarious. It's just some of the funniest stuff. And Steve Martin too. The way they are together, and these guys are in their 70s.
Yeah.
And they're more clever and quick and funnier than guys in their 20s. And it's just, I don't know if I like seeing the press surrounding the show more. And it's like they're not really doing any press because, the strike. And this was, I'm pretty sure, recorded before the strike.
Yeah, it had to have been,
And they're not really promoting the show. They're just talking about them. They're just guests. Talking about their lives, and they talked a lot. They talked a lot about Three Amigos.
Oh, nice.
Where they met, and I highly recommend listening to that show.
I'll definitely have to give that a listen.
And then again, as far as podcasts go, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is a great one.
Yeah.
It's such a cool. I've always been a fan of his, but you take out all the wacky bits and all the stuff, which I loved, and he gets to sit down and talk to people and just being genuinely funny and genuinely interesting. And it's a very good podcast. It's one of my faves.
Nice.
But yeah, Only Murders in the Building is back. I've been watching that.
I started watching Mech Cadets on Netflix. It's an animated show. I really got drawn in by the animation. It's really cool. It's very similar to like the new
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Teenage Mutant Turtles, or like Puss in Boots, the new Puss in Boots movie.
Yes.
Like that kind of style where everything almost looks kind of plastic.
Yeah, or like a oil painting.
Oil painting, yeah. It was
watercolors.
The story itself is kind of boring. It's about giant, mech robots that come down to fight off giant aliens, and then it's like 30 years later, but it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting enough. I've watched a few episodes and I'll finish it. Nice. But it's definitely aimed more towards kids.
Yeah.
But it looks really pretty. It's super pretty.
I'll check it out.
And we're almost done watching Modern Family.
Oh, nice.
We have one more season to go. And I'm saying that like it's like a burden, but it's such a good show. And
yeah.
There's so much of season 10 that I don't think I watched. Like there's so many episodes that I was like, I don't remember any of this.
I might have to do a rewatch. I've been watching some YouTube clips of The Office.
Yeah.
And it's just making me want to watch The Office again.
I randomly on Peacock happened to stop last night before getting to Modern Family. I stopped and then I started doing something else, and it was on The Office, and then they did a promo reel, and I was like, oh man, why do you do this to me?
I know. It's like that's the same thing with all these old video games. It's like sometimes you just want some comfort food.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's like mac and cheese, man.
Yeah.
Kraft mac and cheese. It's never going to be different. It's always going to be the same damn thing. And
it's true.
And sometimes that's what you need. There's a new season of
so good.
What we do in the shadows.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh, it is so great. And this season is really good.
The Pride Parade episode is so good.
Oh god. And Barry, what's his name? Something Barry. He plays Laszlo.
Yeah. Neil Barry or Noah Barry.
Noah Barry, I think. Something like that.
Matt Barry. Matt Barry.
It should be Noah Barry. It sounds he's got that old school.
He's so good.
But he's just like, F you, shut the F up, everyone. He comes across as such a jerk, but he's got such a soft side to him.
He's so nice to Guillermo during this season.
Yeah. Well, he's always, last season he was raising Colin Robinson because he was a little boy.
Yeah.
And,
oh my God. In the Pride Parade episode where Colin Robinson goes into Nadia's body, and then it's like she just pulls her hair back and his face is back there. It's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen.
So creepy.
So creepy.
But if you're not watching that show,
oh my god, it's so good.
You should watch it. And it's funny. I watched a clip of the opening of the movie, and with Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. Jermaine Clement, and then another guy. But what's really funny is when they do the Council of Vampires, Tilda Swinton is the lead vampire.
Yeah.
And she's effing hilarious.
Yeah.
So playing against what she usually plays. But again, just gleefully embracing this. You've got the three actors that starred in the main movie, in the real movie. You've got Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement and the other guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Paul Rubens dressed up in his Buffy the Vampire Slayer outfit. You got Wesley Snipes as Blade, the Daywalker. He's on Zoom, and you have all these iconic vampires as the vampiric council. And it's just those things make this show so clever and funny. And what an amazing cast. If you're not watching this show,
so good.
I think my pick of the week is my pick of the week is a tie.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building and What We Do in the Shadows. Those are my two picks.
All right. Well, it's been very fun watching so many good movies with Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
I've been so pleased. Washes out that bad taste of The Pope's Exorcist.
Oh,
right out of my mouth.
Well, it's going to pre-wash out the bad taste of this coming up month. Poor Adam. I've realized, and I mentioned this on next week's episode, I believe, I realized that as a child, I didn't have maybe the best taste in things. I basically just liked everything. I was a glutton just wanted to consume. I wanted to consume cartoons and movies and TV, and I just loved it. And so I was a very forgiving audience. And so next month we're doing some musicals. We're doing
we're gonna do the Wiz
70s musical month, baby, because I love the 70s.
All these movies came out within like 3 years of each other.
They all did, and they all killed the musical for like the next 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd say that about Grease.
No. Well, Grease
is part of the reason why the other movies exist.
Well, we got The Wiz, which I still have a soft spot for. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and you'll find out why next week. We also doing Xanadu, which I'm so curious to see because I have not seen that since I was a child. I just remember a lot of roller skating and
roller disco, baby,
and one of my favorite bands of all time,
ELO,
Electric Light Orchestra, doing the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So at least it'll sound good, and then
it'll look good. I mean, Olivia Newton-John's pretty.
And then we got Sgt. Pepper's. Oh man. That's going to be an embarrassing show.
A Beatles movie not starring the Beatles.
With everybody else in the world except for the Beatles.
Yep.
Are Steve Martin, Earth, Wind and Fire, George Burns,
Aerosmith,
Alice Cooper.
the Bee Gees.
Well, the Bee Gees are the star.
I know.
They're the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Except the star, I think, is Peter Frampton, right?
Yes.
Who wasn't a Bee Gee.
No, he was not.
But he and Strawberry Fields are like...
He made his guitar talk or something?
We'll find out.
I was born after that era of Peter Frampton and
Poor
the Bee Gees,
bastard.
and I don't understand why Peter Frampton was so huge.
Peter Frampton is great. Peter Frampton Alive is an amazing album.
Great.
My sister... I was telling my sister about... my sister Tracy, one of our biggest fans. I was telling her about the upcoming month. And she got so excited because we saw all these movies together.
Yeah.
And she was a huge Peter Frampton fan. Because he had that like weird like that weird mouthpiece he would play.
Yeah, well that's where it sounded like he was making his guitar talk. Yeah.
But it was his mouth.
I know, yeah.
But look, one of the greatest things he ever did was the Lollapalooza Simpsons episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Somebody take my club sandwich. But it again, I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. I adored that movie as a kid. And then we're going to do Grease, which, again, great movie.
This is the first time where I've not seen the majority of the movies. I'm seeing them for the first time, except for Grease. Grease is... it's
going to be such a disappointing month for you.
But, well, we're ending with Grease, so it'll have a strong landing.
But we might find a couple of rivalries for Hot Pursuit for movies you didn't like.
That's going to be tough.
You're going to find something in both... I can't say that you're going to find something in Xanadu because I cannot back that one up. I don't remember.
Gene Kelly.
Just remember Gene Kelly on skates, and he's charming as F.
But Olivia Newton-John, she's so good.
She is, but this movie is thin, baby. It is thin mints.
We're going to talk about it for sure.
But Sgt. Pepper's, there's a lot of great musical performances in it, and it's just nobody remembers this movie. I think we're probably the only people to resurrect any of these movies, you know. But these are movies I loved as a kid because I had absolutely no taste. We'll see you next week. Was it Terry Garr?
Yeah.
No, it was. No. I'm sorry. It was McDermott.
Francis McDormand.
Francis McDormand. 3 sips in. But
now you just pull up your calculator app on your phone and it does all that.
And just, hey Siri, what's 47 times 22?
I find myself using Google to do basic math sometimes.
Well, she was listening. It's 1034 apparently. Thank you. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, The Jeffersons, already in progress.